Bat.
Oh, I'll talk for a bit, but very quick. Hello, everybody out there. Hello. Hey.
Hello. Hey.
Welcome. This is iNDIEVOLT Live. I want to welcome all of you. I want to welcome iNDIEVOLT Radio right now. Starting off nice and early with iNDIEVOLT Radio numbers sitting at 4,127. I just interrupted all of your music, though. So
just to start, sorry, guys, if you were listening to music. We're
yeah, but you knew that was going to happen. You knew I was going to cut in at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
iNDIEVOLT is live.
That's right. We got a packed show for you tonight. It's going to be a lot of different voices. So when these people tell you their names, you better memorize them. Otherwise, you won't know who's talking. Except for Lola, she never talks.
Hardly ever
talks. But she'll be cycled a lot tonight. Anyway,
we're playing merry-go-round with guests.
We are. We've got so much stuff to talk about. I'm excited to get to it. And then we've got, of course, we're going to answer some of your questions. And we're going to follow up with some news that Mr. Rob Andersin has been following. Rob is going to give us the juicy news coming out of the comic industry this morning. And I guess it's a week.
We just lost somebody.
Did we? Did we lose someone?
Back there.
Okay. I'm sure he'll come back in.
Hope he stops back by.
Yeah, so we're gonna start the intro here, and
we might have been mad about no green M&Ms in the green room.
No green M&Ms, no sexy decoys. Also, apparently no air conditioning back there in the green room.
Sorry.
Yeah,
yeah. Somebody's gotta fix that.
Yeah. I see Rob Davis is fanning himself.
One of the Robs is already fanning himself.
Yeah. Here's the intro, guys. We'll see you on the other side of it. Here we go.
Hold on. Mr. Miller is back in the green.
That's right. And we are bringing everybody back. We're all here now. They're all here. Everybody's here. And we still got more people. But
except for the news hound. There's more coming, so it's all good.
How's everyone out there? My name is Varian Grant. I am a co-publisher over at Last Call Comics, as well as the founder of iNDIEVOLT Media, LLC, iNDIEVOLT.com. You can find all that cool stuff over at iNDIEVOLT. I've been making comics since way back in 2008. And way back. I'm an old man when it comes to comics. And first book I ever did was a black and white interior action comedy called Psycho Sirens. I'm a father, a husband, a geek, a creator, a publisher, a writer, occasional actor, a reluctant taxpayer, and a creator reader. Shamefully not in that order. And this is iNDIEVOLT Live. I am joined by, as always, Lola, who will wave at the camera. There she go. Mr. Randy Zimmerman. Randy, introduce yourself.
Hey, everybody. I'm Randy Zimmerman. I've been printing comics for a long time. Working in alternative and independent comics for many years, a lot longer than Mr. Varian there. I have done just about everything in this business that you can imagine when it comes to independent and alternative comics, including retailing for a number of years. I am a award-winning commercial and graphic artist whose main call is doing advertising work that is sequential art. And I also have the Zim Geek channel here on YouTube when I'm not on iNDIEVOLT. So that's the Zim Geek channel, ZIMMGEEK. I think that about sums it up. Done a lot of things with for a lot of stuff in comics. So.
Much more than me. Now we're joined by three new guests who've never been on the show before. Travis Miller, Rob Davis, and Barbara Kaalberg. I'm sorry. I don't want to. Is it Kaalberg, right?
Kaalberg.
Kaalberg. I don't know why I keep saying Cal. Maybe it's the way.
Because it's the way it's spelled.
My dad used to hate for me to call him Cal when I was a baby, but because his name is Calvin, and as a child they hear Calvin, so they Cal, and he hated it. But maybe it just stuck in me now. Yeah. But Barbara was with us on Geekgasm a couple weeks ago. Barbara, we're gonna go from right to left. Barbara, introduce yourself, please.
My name is Barbara Kaalberg, and I have been a professional inker for 30 plus years. Inked for just about everybody under the sun, and I'm currently working for Silverline. And my Kickstarter, which I'm the creator of Divinity, Kickstarter started off today, and it looks like it's going great guns. We're only been live for 9 hours, and we're over 1,300 already. And we're trending, let me see, we are trending #1 on KickTrack's hot list. So,
Cool.
yeah.
Great.
And we're doing a double feature. And the other book that is featured with Divinity is Twilight Grimm. And my fellow creator, Rob Davis, is next to me here.
And then she pitched it to you perfectly, Rob. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I am a professional comic book artist. I've been in the industry since 1987, I believe it was. Started out work for Now Comics. I don't want to mention them. They're long gone, thank goodness.
They still owe me money.
Well, yeah, I always like to say they were the comics company for people who wanted to get into comics in the worst way. Because it was the worst way possible.
That's right.
But yeah, anyway, that's where I started. I actually started out before that doing illustrations for role-playing games for the DC superhero game. That's where I did my first work, 1986 or 87, somewhere in there. And then I worked for Malibu Comics. Actually, their Eternity Comics line with R.A. Jones, the co-writer of Divinity and the writer of the book I'm working on, Twilight Grimm. He and I had a book called Scimitar. If anybody that was around then knows, that was it was essentially an adult comic book that R.A. and I did for about 3 or 4 years there. And then I kind of parlayed that into work for first I did some likeness work on Quantum Leap for what was the name of that company again? It was David Campiti's company.
Innovation.
Thank you very much.
I worked for him too.
Gray hairs, and less of it. That's because it's growing into my brain. So there's less thinking going on. But anyway, I did Quantum Leap for them. And then I parlayed that into some work for DC on their Star Trek books. And then Malibu got the rights to Deep Space Nine, and I worked on that with them for a long time. And then I did a little bit of work with Marvel. And then the implosion came.
And you found yourself.
All my contacts had left the industry. All the editors that I'd worked for had either been fired or jumped ship. So I was kind of left high and dry, and then I tried several different things. Everything, the rug got yanked out from underneath me so many times it was ridiculous. And finally, I just decided to get out of it for a little while. I went off and I did I did work with some of the guys from Malibu. They pitched some advertising stuff my way and a few design pieces for video games. And then I worked for a T-shirt design company for a while. And then finally, the industry caught up with me where I could, this print on demand stuff that we're doing now. That when that came along, I decided, well, hey, it's time to jump back in. I can print my own comics now. So that's essentially what I got into. And then I hooked up with an old friend, Ron Fortier. And he and I got together and we co-founded a pulp revival book company called Airship 27. And I've been doing that for, I think we're on 14 years now that we've been doing that. At least 10 or 12 at least. And I believe it's 14. I'd have to go back and look. But I do the design work. I do the logo designs. I do some illustration work for that. And on the side, I have a little self-publishing company called Redbud Studio Comics that I've done some stuff with. I did a book called Daughter of Dracula with Ron Fortier and a couple of other things. I did my own book called Spirit of Route 66. So I got kind of kicked out of the industry for a little while through no fault of my own, but I'm clawing my way back in. Now I'm back with my old pal R.A. Jones. Roland Mann contacted me, said R.A. was wanting to do a book for him, and would Rob Davis be interested in drawing it? And I said, Well, sure.
Now-
Let's do something. And now here we are.
And then now you're back, and so, every time you try to get out, they pull you back in. I've noticed something, by the way. I'm going to make sure that from now on, I'm going to pad my resume a little bit now. I don't like how Randy and Rob have these long resumes. That, or I'm about to go buy myself a bottle of beer.
You got to get these first. You got to be old enough to get these first.
I've got a couple of them, but they're not. They're,
put them in front.
Yeah, I think I will. And we're joined by Travis Miller as well. Travis, give us a little bit of introduction about yourself.
So I'm Travis. I'm an Army veteran. I got out of the Army. Was retired 5 years ago, and comics had always been a passion of mine. But after the Army, I kind of found myself into advertising. I was working as the senior art director for an advertising agency, doing graphic design, production work, and just moved up to planning out these campaigns and ended up doing TV commercials and radio commercials, so on and so forth. But comics had always been my passion. And I've had some minor published work here and there as a writer and an artist. But I teamed up with my pal, Scott McDaniel, who's worked on Nightwing, Batman, Action Comics, Green Arrow, Green Goblin, Daredevil. The list is as long as it's pretty long. And we came up with this comic or graphic novel called The Last Patrol. It's on Indiegogo. Go check it out. Based off of some of my experiences in the Iraq War. It's based on actual events. So we're doing pretty good with that. We have about 20 days left on it and around 250 backers, and we'd like to keep that going.
All right, that's cool. And we're going to look at that. Now, I know you guys have been on the show before. Some of you guys have seen the show. If you haven't, prepare yourselves for complete anarchy. However, as you know, we have questions that are sent to us from viewers of the show, and I like to have Randy read those questions, and Randy reads them in a very
Sometimes.
Sometimes he puts a little flair on it. And so I like when Randy does that, and we have Randy read the questions. Now we're joined by two other people. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves, and we're going to go from there. Okay. Yeah, I do got comments. I want to say from Juan Jordan. He says, "Great Scott, look at all those comics back there." Yeah, there's a ton of comics. I mean, between Randy and Rob, gee whiz, and then Erik has a ton of comics.
That's not all of them.
Yeah. It's the
whole
white
way
hair.
wall.
I'm not sure they're not the same person. Yeah, that's a lot of comics. I mean, and then I got them behind. Oh gosh, there's a lot of comics around here. Jay White says, "I thought you were Don Cherry." I'm not sure. Maybe he was talking to. He's talking to someone. I'm not sure he was talking to, but
he was talking about Rob.
Rob was talking about Rob. Yeah.
Are we taking that as a compliment?
I've been
Let's
called
take it as a
everything. Some guy in a grocery store once thought I was Branson, the guy that owns Virgin.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Said I was, and I'm going, I really don't see it, but yeah, okay, I'd love to have his money.
Dave the Supreme says, "Hey everyone," and
Hey,
I'm gonna
Dave.
bring the other two guys in the back. I'm gonna bring them in. I'm gonna pop me and Lola out.
Cool.
I'm gonna bring these two guys in. They're gonna introduce themselves, and then I'm gonna start putting the questions up. Randy, could you read them?
All right.
Okay, so I might not come back in for a minute, but okay, I'm gonna bring these guys in.
Just hang in there. We'll bring you in when we need you.
Yeah.
All right. You want me to pop Lola and yourself out?
Yep.
And now coming in, Mr. Dreaded Dinosaur. Introduce yourself, please.
Hey, how's it going? Erik Hodson here. Yep, creator of Dreaded Dinosaur Man on Webtoon. Currently finishing up the Roddy Piper Kilted Avenger comic for Pro Wrestling Tees and Mess Bucket Comics. And yep, happy to be here as semi-usual.
Semi-usual. And also joining us tonight is Anthony Figaro. Anthony, how you doing?
Hey, how we doing? I know Erik looks better than Variant. I however, do not look better than Lola. I'm sorry to subject you to this. But my name is Anthony Figaro. I am the creator of the God's Hand universe. My God's Hand book is currently in demand on Indiegogo. You can also find me at kiddestructo.com.
All righty. And Varian said he has questions. Somebody has a cat.
I
Yeah,
know.
that's my question.
Mine's
Man,
outside.
Terrible.
L. Nolan again. Thank you, L. You're always welcome to chime in. Gonna be March 2021 before I get my devices back, guys. Oh, L, I am sorry.
That's
Sorry to hear that.
terrible.
Well, the previous episode, L mentioned that he had taken on work from another creator who ended up becoming, I guess, pretty nefarious with the law. So the law came over, knocked on his door, and took all of his electronic devices that were connected to the internet.
Oh,
Whoa.
man.
Oh.
Oh, man.
Damn.
All to L's surprise. So we really feel for you, L. Gonna be March 2021 before I get my devices back, guys. My advice: try to do some research on the person asking you to come on board a project. I know I will in the future. Law enforcement tells me they know I got caught up in the whole thing, but process is slow and fair in its unfairness. Thanks for writing in and catching us up on that, L. Please keep us.
And this is how
apprised of your
libertarians
situation.
are born.
That's right.
One thing we really push on
taxation
this.
is theft.
Yeah,
Yep.
one thing we really push on this program is to do your research.
Now I wonder if
Do your
L. Nolan,
research.
is he prevented from getting new devices until he's cleared with his old ones?
I'm
Or-
sure he's not. I'm sure they were trying to look for something nefarious on.
Yeah,
on
they probably pulled his hard drives.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I would think that'd be what they do, looking for. I'm not even going to say it because it.
Yeah, we don't need any strikes.
No.
Looking
no.
for who knows what. That's
Yeah,
what
it could be
yeah.
anything. Could be
Yeah.
any number of things. Yeah.
Any other advice or input to L? I'm pretty sure he knows that he made a mistake.
Yeah,
and
do a
that he'll be
Google search
rectified.
on anybody you're gonna be working with to see if they. Yeah,
Google is your friend. I Google the shit out of everything.
absolutely. Yeah, it's amazing. If you put the right stuff in there, you can find out all kinds of things.
Also, the public records. I mean, you can,
Yes, absolutely.
depending on the, actually most states have public records that you can check. I was an Army recruiter for a while. Sorry, not my choice.
That's all right.
But,
See,
know,
you gotta have a
learn how to
job,
do-
man.
right? You learn how to do background checks pretty easy, and most states are pretty easy. But yeah, unless you actually know the person, Google public
Yeah.
records.
Yep.
Well, you never really know a person.
Well, and sometimes they've been hiding it, and they get caught, and then you get caught up in it. So you may still not find out what's going on,
Yeah.
but you can, if you look at what kind of things they've been looking at, or try and find out what they're interested in.
Mhm.
You can kind of get an inkling of maybe what they're up to.
Right. Anything else, Varian? I think we did that. Covered that pretty well. I think L. Nolan has learned a very valuable lesson.
Oh,
I just hope he's able to get back
Ooh.
up
Yeah,
on the net
yeah.
soon.
This is a long one.
This is from Ace.
Wow.
Yeah, we asked
Wow.
that the emails be 90 words or less. So Varian
Keep it-
didn't
keep
wear
it
out his fingers.
Pithy, people.
Pithy?
Pithy.
Why are all, yes, I mean all, these independent creators and publishers trying to copy/paste Marvel DC Image? I've seen straight ripoffs, not just in character concept and design, but trade dress, design aesthetic, and more. The strength of indie is in being able to do whatever the hell we wanted without corporate supervision or intrusion. At least that's the way it was back in the Hyatt Ashbury, back on Hyatt Ashbury.
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 Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
almost remember those days.
Yeah, I was about to say he's going
That
back
was-
a ways there.
That was just a little bit before my time.
Okay.
When I was breaking in before the pussification of the whole goddamn system. Pathetic. Ace.
Who wrote that? MacArthur?
That's Mr. Ace. Thank you. Or someone named Ace.
Oh,
Let's put it that way.
All
So-
generalizations are false.
There we go.
Ooh.
I don't know. Pretty much everything I've seen on Kickstarter is pretty unique.
Ooh,
Yeah.
can I answer this one?
Yeah, I don't know what
Absolutely.
he's talking about.
Who's up?
Ace.
Right. I don't either.
Ace, you can go to Indiegogo.com, look for The Last Patrol. It's a completely original story based off of my actual experiences. It has nothing to do with Marvel or DC or Image or anything else. So, yeah, man.
We're going to take
There
a
you go.
closer look at that.
I don't know what else
campaign
to tell
here.
you about.
About.
All
Yeah,
is bad generalization.
Yeah,
Yeah, I feel the
organizations
same
are
way.
bad or wrong.
Yeah, you got to give me a specific example. Otherwise, I don't know what you're talking about.
No,
I mean,
I don't know where he's coming from.
There are those projects which are like a ripoff of Winnie the Pooh and Venom put together, and
isn't Image
all
a
these other-
ripoff of Marvel?
yeah,
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Wildcats,
Are we going? Yeah,
Cyber
how far
Force.
back we going here?
Spawn was Spider-Man with Doctor Strange's cape on, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought Venom the Pooh was an original idea, though.
Has he read Bone or Strangers in Paradise?
Oh, I love Strangers in Paradise. Terry
I
is an
love
Excellent
awesome
book.
creator.
Excellent book.
Love Strangers in Paradise.
Yeah,
one of my
great
favorites.
series. Great
I
series.
love all of his work.
Yes.
Just amazing.
Terry does great stuff.
Yes, he does.
Ace, my big suggestion to you is to look around a little harder. And
Yeah. Yeah.
and-
Page through previews a little more.
Yep.
Yeah.
And snoop around Kickstarter and
Yes.
and the crowdfunding sites a little harder. Take a real good look at what's out there. There's some out there that imitate or give
That's been
homage to.
that's been true since
mainstream
day
coverage.
one in comics.
That's what I say. How's that any different?
Right?
It's always been.
Yeah, it's always been that way.
I don't
Everything's
think
been
you-
written before, back from the time of Shakespeare.
or back to the Greeks. How many plot lines are there? 12, I think it is.
36.
Go
I
back to
don't
the
think
Greeks.
I don't think you've seen more originality and diversity in the market, especially in the crowdfunding market, in a long time. So you just need to look around a little bit.
Yeah, look deeper. Yeah.
Yeah.
Derek Andrews, thanks for writing in.
Oh,
Derek,
yes.
when did you know you wanted to
Nice.
make comic books? We can go around the horn on that.
Around the
one.
horn, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll start.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Barbara.
birthday Barb's, yeah, Laura, yeah.
Way back in the old days, in the 70s, I was working at a pharmacy, and one of my jobs was to pull the comic books off the spinner rack and rip the covers off, and so they could send it back to get money for the
Right.
unsold copies. And I was supposed to throw the guts of the book in the trash, but the trash happened to be the back of my trunk. So I got totally hooked on Warlord, Travis
Oh.
Morgan. Yeah, Travis Morgan.
Yeah.
And if you're a 14-year-old girl and you see this guy running around in basically a skull for a codpiece and that's it, that really struck my imagination. And I got away from comics for a little bit, but then I got back into it in the 80s by reading ElfQuest. And I was very much inspired by that. And I was painting at the time, doing, acrylic paintings. And I'm looking at my brush and going, I could take this brush and I could ink comic books. So in 1987, 88, something like that, I went out to San Diego and took a portfolio which had everything that you should not have in it. And made the rounds, got shredded, absolutely crucified.
Yeah.
But I listened. I took it to heart, and I came home and I practiced for a year, and I went back out to San Diego in 1989 and got a job with Malibu.
Awesome.
Yep.
Rob.
My turn. Okay, well, 1964, 63, 64, Avengers #2. The original Avengers #2. Picked that up off the stand when I was a kid. Paged through it. Jack Kirby's artwork, reached out, grabbed me, and pulled me in. And I said, "Wow, that's pretty cool stuff. I wonder if I could do that. I would love to do that." And spent the rest of my formative years drawing. My dad was a paper salesman, so I had lots of paper to draw on, and pencils and all that. And over the years, But as I got into college, I lived in Southwest Missouri, which is it's almost the South, and it's very rural. The towns are pretty small, and to get into comics at that time, back in the 60s and 70s, you had to live in New York. or you had to live, close to there. So I went off to college to tried to get a degree, and got sidetracked by drugs and women and rock and roll.
Me too.
And so I got sidetracked for a while, and then the world started to change. FedEx came along, UPS came along, and you could do your artwork and get it there overnight. So you didn't have to go into the office and take your artwork in or your script in, and started going to conventions. Did the same thing Barb did, put together a portfolio, got eviscerated, and but in this industry, the only way you're going to make it is if you got to get a tough skin. So I worked at it, and actually fairly quickly, like Barb did, within about a year. It was about a year for me as well. With all you have to, if you start hearing the same thing over and over again from different editors or from different people you're talking to, that's probably what's wrong with what you're doing. But if you hear different weird stuff, you kind of go, that probably isn't appropriate, or isn't what I need to work on. But if you keep hearing the same thing over and over again, that's probably what you need to do. But that's when I knew, is when I picked up that issue of Avengers #2 and saw Jack Kirby's artwork. Wow.
Travis.
So I think I was about 8. We were moving to Cleveland, so my soul was going to die anyways. And on the way, we stopped somewhere.
Cleveland rocks.
Does it though?
I don't know. I've never been there.
It's terrible. But we stopped somewhere, and my parents, in order to shut me up, got me a big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles tabloid size black and white graphic novel and some X-Men comics. I actually still have it. It was
wow.
Yeah, I still have those, and that was it. I just fell in love with comics, and drawing and writing became, my thing forever. Of course, in high school, I started playing football and all that, and it kind of fell out. And then I think it was like 1998 or so, I showed my portfolio to somebody who's pretty large in the industry now, and they said I would never make it, which they may be right. At this point, I can't tell. But, life just happened, and finally I just decided, you know what? I need to do this. I need to get this stuff done. So went back to writing, went back to drawing, and, here I am. So about the past 30 years.
Speaking of turtles, Erik.
I have to ask Rob one question. What town in Southwest Missouri did you grow up in?
I grew up in a little town called Lebanon.
Lebanon, I know where that is.
Oh my God!
I also grew up in Southwest Missouri.
Where?
El Dorado Springs.
Yes, I know where that is. Yes, on Highway 54.
Yep, Highway 54. Nevada was the nearest Walmart. And,
Yeah.
used to always go to Joplin.
So whereof I speak, that we grew up in the middle of nowhere.
I called it the armpit of America.
Oh yeah.
Sweet.
Springfield is the best.
Still think that's Cleveland.
Bible Belt.
Yeah, I grew up on a cattle farm. I was a farm kid, and
So was I.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I grew up on a farm in Iowa.
And you can take the boy out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the boy. That's true.
That's right.
Yes, y'all.
Anyway, when I was real young, I was drawing on everything I get my hands on, and I drew. The first things I was drawing tractors, which was like a square with a circle. And one day my dad brought me into their bedroom, and he pulled out this long box from underneath the bed, just full of old comics. None of the big heavy hitters. He gave those away when he was stationed in Germany. He just kept the ones he liked, and none of them were worth millions of dollars. But still, though, it was just like, here, these are yours now. And it was one of the limited interactions with him that really made an impact on me as a child. And I just consumed those. I quickly fell in love with Iron Man, and studied, once I got older, started buying my own comics, discovered Bob Layton, and he was an early influence of mine. And I just started copying what I saw, and I wanted to draw my own. and I followed all the guys when they formed Image, and I followed other guys when they formed Valiant, and it was just admiring the craft. Like I guess my number 2 influence was Barry Windsor Smith. Anything with him or Bob Layton's name on it, I would buy, and I would just stare at how it was drawn and just soak it all in. So I pretty much only ever wanted to do that, but I thought I needed practical skills. So I thought I'd be a CG animator, and I went to art school for that. And somehow in the middle of my sophomore year, I just decided, you know what, I'm going to draw my own comic, and started there and ended up publishing it in 2005, a few years after graduating. And I haven't given up yet. And now you can go to Webtoon and read Dinosaur Man for free, getting ready for the book to launch on Indiegogo this fall.
Just think of where you would be
Good plug.
if your dad had pulled out a box of Popular Mechanics or Playboy.
Yeah, no kidding. I could be a grease monkey.
Fixing tractors, brother. Fixing tractors.
Right now, listening on INDIEVOLTradio.com, our number is 11,412. Just want to
Nice.
say we appreciate each and every one of you listening on the radio right now, and just be glad that you can't see us.
Absolutely. I'll co-sign
If you
that.
want to see us,
I'll
you can go to
co-sign that.
YouTube and you can subscribe to
yeah.
INDIEVOLT.
We are on YouTube if you want to see our funny faces. So,
You don't want to
Anthony,
see it.
what got you into comics, buddy?
Women got me into comics.
There we go.
All
Good
the
enough.
girls,
Now,
like,
next
now.
person.
That's the
Like,
first
you
time
Must
I've
be
ever
younger
heard
than
that.
me. There were women when I was young.
You mean drawing women, right? Drawing women.
Oh,
It's not
my
like it's a
goodness,
chick
man. I do
magnet.
suffer from a disease of perception. I was about 10 years old, and I wandered into the Circle K and boosted my first comic books. And it's great, man. It was Iron Man 227, Iron Wars, and it's funny. He just was talking about Bob Layton, and then I moved on to X-Men Classic with Arthur Adams, and we started to just draw. And so I knew that's what I wanted to do. But as a kid, you go through all these things, and then it comes, life sets on. And I think it was about 2003. I made my first convention. I went to Chicago Wizard World back when they had carpet on the floor. We used to go to conventions and they had carpet on the floor.
Wow.
And it was nice. It was nice. And 2005, I got my first book published through Ape Entertainment. And me and my partner, Marcus DeGisu, made a book called Justice City Chronicles. And then that was in 2005. And I'm from New Orleans, and Katrina hit, and I got sidetracked like Rob got sidetracked. Me and Rob are kindred spirits when it comes to that. And I got sidetracked with,
Life.
extracurricular activities
Yes.
that were
I
detrimental
remember
to
parts of the 70s.
which were detrimental to my body, mind, and soul. And fortunately, about 2010, I came out of all of that and started inching my way back in. And I guess it was about 2017. I did a book with a couple of writers, but it was their book. And then right around that time, I listened to a guy named Richard C. Myers, your boy Zach, talking about making books. And I watched this guy make a book, and I watched him make money, and I watched all of a sudden these guys, these misfits come out of the hills. You know what I mean? The Highlanders were coming down out of the Highlands, and they were like, you know what? I want to take a shot again, man. Everything is wide open right now. And so here I am, and I crowdfunded a book. We funded on Indiegogo. It's in demand right now, and by August it should be out. Called God's Hand, about New Orleans, about Jean Lafitte and Marie Laveau. So here I am.
Cool. We will get back to that in just a second. For me, I got a book from my uncle when I was 8 years old on how to draw Woody Woodpecker. I grew up in middle Michigan, and got a book from my uncle from the Walter Lantz Studios called The Easy Way to Draw, which broke cartoons, the Lantz Studio cartoon characters down into basic shapes. And I just took to it like a fish out of water and just kept drawing like crazy. And I grew up in a very restrictive religion. My parents wouldn't allow me to have superhero books for quite a while. In fact, I got my my butt spanked pretty hard for smuggling in a 80-page giant Batman that was all Dick Sprang.
Good for
artwork at
you,
the time.
Randy.
So
Wow.
I just couldn't stay away from comics. I just loved the idea of the art form and just took to it and read a lot. Before I even had my first comic, I knew practically all of the characters and most of the stories, a big Marvel and DC. And so I really took to the oddball comics when I had that chance. So in high school, I took 2 years in commercial art instruction at the local skill center because I was in a restrictive religion that wasn't going to allow me to go to college at the time. So I got out of the religion, got into life, got into the world of independent publishing. And, like I tell everybody, once you hold that first comic in your hands, you decide pretty much right then and there if that's what you're going to do for the rest of your life. And that's what happened to me.
It's like your baby.
Yep, exactly. Each one
Like
of
a
them's like your
baby.
kid. Yep. And that's really what got me into comics. Now, Varian, do you want me to bring you in? Give me a thumbs up. You want me to go to Rob? All right. Bringing Varian in. There we go. And I am going to step out.
Finally, after 10,000 years, I am free. I didn't read it.
There he is.
So I'm going to actually bring Rob in because I know Rob has some news, and then we're going to talk about everybody's books after this. But Rob has some news, and I told him I definitely want to discuss this, and we got a great panel tonight who might be able to actually add some advice and
Is this breaking news?
It's some of it is breaking news, some of it is industry news. It's all bad. No, it's not all bad, but
That's what we specialize in here.
Yeah. So I'm gonna step out, and then Rob's gonna step in. So right now, here he goes. Tap.
I like that he said it was happening.
Hey,
How's it
Rob.
going, Rob?
What's up, guys? How's everyone doing today?
We are doing well.
Good. One rob to another.
Appreciate
We've
it.
been twice robbed.
All right, so Varian, if you want to share my screen, I know you're in the background. We can start talking about what's going on today. We're going to start with the ugliest thing first. I did alter this image out of respect for the viewing audience. This is a story going around the comics verse right now that someone is being accused of making this comment towards another creator. I am not releasing the name as of this moment for either parties involved in it for one simple reason. Someone's lying. I've reached out to both. I have gotten comments from one of the two people stating that he did not make these comments. He did say that he made the top sentence. I was making fun of your special interest bullshit. He admits that, says that is absolutely a comment I made. He said, but the rest isn't me. So I did some digging. I looked up his name on Facebook, found out there was a dead profile. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but when you create a Facebook profile, it kind of gives you an intro. So when you look at that blank thing, it still has one thing that says join Facebook on this day. You can delete that, and people can go back and delete it when they're doing a reverse catfish. Does anyone know what a reverse catfish is?
No.
Is that like a trout?
No, catfishing is the idea that
Fishing pole?
you fake being someone. You hide behind someone else.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
A reverse
fishing. Yeah. Reverse
A
fishing.
reverse catfish is when you pretend to be someone else to make a statement on their behalf to get them in trouble.
Wow.
So by creating a fake profile, saying something as horrible as that, they now can say that this person did it. Turns out the person behind this is a Comicsgate person who has been dealing with this type of abuse. I felt this was a story worth covering and worth following. I am waiting for stuff. If something gets updated during this program, I will let you know. As of right now, we're going to take the word of the actual creator saying that this is not his message because he screenshot me everything that he has discussed today. You cannot remove in Messenger a message easily. And I don't think he knew how, and I don't think he's faking. I'm not getting that from him, that he is faking this. Because I even told him, is it okay if I report this to Facebook to be investigated? He said, no problem, go ahead. I don't think you would make a racist comment and then say it's okay for you to be looked at, because that can get your profile suspended for 60 days. If someone is faking this and saying this, it's divisive, it's ugly, and it's unnecessary. It's why we're covering it when we know more about the situation. We'll update you on it. I do think it's extremely ugly that something like this even has to be talked about, but we have made the commitment that we'll be covering the stories that are making news. Speaking of making news, we get to our next newsmaker this week. So this started off with Larry Patrick Higgins on a Kickstarter called Hoodie. So I reached out to the creator, and y'all have to excuse me, the messenger put everything in reverse. So here we go. Chris Johnson is the creator behind Hoodie. So I asked him, we're getting ready to run a story on you about Hoodie and would like to know if you would like to be part of an interview form, or do you have any comments that you would like to make? And I asked him if all this is okay to share. He said yes. He said, I have been putting packages out, but there's also a pandemic going on, and I'm dealing with a death in the family because of it. I just grabbed my Hoodie books and merch from storage to send out in the next couple days. Things have gotten turned upside down, but I haven't given up on getting the books out to people. I won't be able to do it all in one go, but over the course of the next couple of weeks, everyone will get their books, T-shirts, and hoodies. And let me just make sure we're going the right way with this. Hold on. I took all the pictures to make sure that we were in the right fashion. This is what we're talking about. No, sorry. Again, Facebook kind of jumbled everything on me. So here we go. Yeah, we got a lot of backers on that one. Let me consider your offer the ultimatum. Because I asked him, I said, well, are you going to come on? And he said, I'll offer and I'll get back to you. I do appreciate you reaching out. I said, sure, it's a professional thing to do. And I offered, you guys can see. And he said, I told him I'm not trying to get a got you BS thing. I wanted real information. He said, thanks for that. I know it can be tempting to pile on, but people kick you when you're down. And I said, I agree. I have no time for that. I seek honesty and make comics more powerful. He said he got a couple packages out, and he showed me that he saw that people are talking about him. And I assured him that we were talking about him because he's left people there. Now, again, he does have the product. I want to stress that. He did show it to me. He also showed me that a comic book was fine. And this is where he says I can make the statements, and he's okay with it. So the comics have been posted. So what's the issue? Well, here's the issue. This was funded way back December. Let's see, last updated December 13th. I have to go to the updates. I believe this got funded in March 18th of last year. He was supposed to deliver the books in May of 2019. So he was already very late before the pandemic hit. And I did point that out to him. I said, it's a little weird that the pandemic's a reason when you're a year late. Now, let's also remember that the pandemic really didn't hit America too hard. And I do feel bad. He had someone who died in his family. I'm not going to comment on that. That's horrible. That's horrific. But he's sent out the PDFs according to this. Like you can see, face-off plate reward. He's talking about the rewards. New covers done. He's been doing interviews. And then he even talks about getting a PDF out. Funded successfully March 17th, so on St. Patrick's Day last year. And then he started emailing things, and then suddenly All Inked came in July. So he was way late. You see from April, we're in the home stretch, and then he said All Inked. So there was already a disconnect. This was supposed to be a book that was going to be, and he's saying we only have 3 more pages to go until the entire book is done. And then suddenly you have, wait a minute, we're inking things. So the book wasn't done. Then he says he's going to the printer in 2019. Again, where were the books? And then in September, a few days later, he says digitals are being sent out. There's another update about sketches, and then something about spam folders. We move on, and suddenly there's not an update from September to December. And he apologizes for lack of communication, but again, blames a holiday for some of the problems that he's having. This winds up making us a little nervous and makes a lot of people nervous. So which Larry Patrick Higgins, who brings us this story, says this has been a fucking disgrace. I shared your project out. I told you how good it looked. And now it is 2020, and I can see I am not the only one without their book. I have sent you a few messages over the past year, and they have gone unanswered. At this point, I respect a full refund. Failure to do so will place you on blast, and I kid you not. I am a creator. I work hard, real hard to make sure I fulfill, and that I am on time. I think he meant not time, but on time. You have made the rest of us look bad and took my forever ride while you have been patting yourself on the back on Facebook. And someone else also asked for an update a month ago and 2 months ago. Can I get an update? So, I mean, here it is, guys. He's not exactly innocent in this. The creator has done a horrible job communicating. He has not reached out. He has not done the right thing in talking with his fans. So Varian was very curious what you guys had felt about this. And Varian, you can take down the link now so we can show everyone in the room better. But Varian wanted to kick around the idea for you guys and ask you, what do you think about that? I mean, the guy says he's trying, but isn't it a little too late now? You're trying a year after you launched and successfully got your project, well over a year now. And you're blaming a pandemic. You're blaming Christmas. Doesn't the blame somewhat have to go on you? We get that he's trying to get it done. But again, he told me all these products were just sitting in a shed.
Yeah,
How is that acceptable?
That's a little sketchy for as far as I'm concerned. I mean, you're promising a product. You should really be ready to rock and roll on it. That's one of the things about Silverline, working for Silverline. Every single one of Silverline's Kickstarters, the book is finished, completely finished, ready to go before we even kickstart it. And I think that should be the model for all business, all the Kickstarters.
That's great for most, like Silverline, you guys already have funding. For me, I think my penciler, Scott McDaniel, has 20 pages, 20 out of 36 pages finished at this point. Our inker has the first 10 lettered to 20 pages, which is awesome because that's all money out of my pocket.
You're not paid.
I haven't received any money. I've received no money.
No, we don't get paid until the Kickstarter goes.
Right.
Right.
So we did all this up front. We did this on spec.
Would you guys?
I mean, we all do it on spec. I'm not making excuses for this guy, but also somebody getting ripped off on Kickstarter. In other news, water is wet.
Very good point. Very good point.
I mean, I would have to go along with Travis on this. I don't think there's any way that you excuse poor business or anything like this. But the idea is whether you have it finished, because I'm in the same boat as Travis. I did not when I started mine was not done. But I'm doing everything myself. But and I've had to learn on the fly because I have had things happen to me, and I'll have to make up for that. You know what I mean? And I've created things, a lanyard bag, we call it, where I'm putting extra stuff in the campaign for people's patience. But to me, at the end of the day, is, do you fulfill your product? Do you do it? If it's late, it's late. I get it. You know what I mean? And again, you don't want to do that. But if you take my thing on this, if you're going to take the money, make sure you produce a product. If it's a year late, if it's whatever, make sure you make a product. You can recoup from a late campaign. You cannot recoup from from never fulfilling a campaign. You'll never recoup from that. You'll never recoup from that at all.
I mean, to go with what Anthony's saying, also having realistic timelines. That's why I put my ship date out to September. I don't know what's going to happen with this pandemic thing. I don't know what Scott's schedule is, or the inker, or the letterer, or the colorist. So maybe he just didn't have realistic deadlines and expectations for himself. I'm not making excuses for the guy because it's his fault, because he's running the bit.
Is he new? Is
running
he
a business?
This whole deal, or because if you are, then you might have pie in the sky ideas about what you can do.
Absolutely.
And then you find out you can't do it.
And that's one of the things that happened a lot.
But the problem is he didn't communicate.
God,
that is the huge problem.
That's his problem.
Yeah,
It's
that's what's
okay.
going to kill him with the PR is not any. If there's dishonesty there, that's going to ruin his reputation.
Yeah,
It's not the lateness. Speaking for my own behalf, I'm late. I'm very late. My book was supposed to ship in February.
I knew I liked Erik for some reason,
and I'm still drawing it. But again, I'm upfront. I'm saying, look, I didn't realize how much of a big job a 52-page full color graphic novel was going to be. I thought I could get it done in a year, and that was not taking in circumstances.
Not if you have a
Circumstances
real
happen.
job.
I get pulled back.
Right.
Well, I have to earn a living and I have to do conventions in order to do that.
Mhm.
So that takes out time. Plus, I was in the hospital with pneumonia, and it just turned into a shitstorm.
Mhm.
But you know what? Despite the fact that my campaign, we did a take what you get campaign for Indiegogo, not an all or nothing. So it underfunded, but I'm still on the hook to do this. I'm under contract with Pro Wrestling Tees through Mess Bucket Comics to put this comic out. So if I have to sacrifice any new opportunities coming along, I'm getting this book done. And I'm drawing it right now while we're talking. So,
No wonder you're not
that's the
paying
thing.
attention to us.
Yeah, I do have a question. Real quick, I'm gonna pop Erik and Anthony in the back. I'm gonna bring we have a special. We have another special guest. I'm gonna bring them in because they got a comic. This person has a comic came out Tuesday last week. Tuesday. I want to bring them in because I've been trying to get them on the show, and I got them right where I want them. All right, I want to pop you guys in the back, but I'm gonna bring you back in. So hang tight.
Hold on.
All right, here we go. There is Randy, and joining us now, Mr. David Williams, who I've been trying to get on the show for a while now. The artist on Bass Reeves just came into Walmart. Hello, David. Can you hear us?
We can barely see you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, great.
Can you see me?
Yeah.
See your light?
Yeah.
I can see your light. Yeah. Point it toward your
Sorry.
face.
And it's I'm happy to have you here with us. Been reading Bass Reeves. Want to talk about that too. Randy got his. I got mine.
I
Indie Princess Lola stole mine. I believe Erik Hodson, who's in the green room, has his. Erik, give me a thumbs up if you got yours.
I technically bought it. So
Yeah.
mine.
She said that she bought it, so it's hers. Really excited about that book, and it's really cool to see the Legion's Arts displays in the stores. Has anybody been mailing you pictures of those? Don't know if you hear me. It might be slow.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
I'm trying to get sexy for you guys.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I mean it's funny because people email me the pictures. They're like, "Have you seen these in Walmart yet?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then it seems some people that didn't know about them freak out, like, "There's comics in Walmart. There's comics in Walmart."
Yay!
Yeah. And it's like, well, yeah. Have you not been following this for the past?
I still want them to bring spinner racks back.
Yeah.
That would be
love-
great.
I'd love to have one.
Yeah. Have you
Randy's
seen them on
Randy's
eBay? They're
with great green envy.
Have you seen them on eBay? They are expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Oh,
I've looked
mine
at them.
squeaks.
I don't have that kind of dough.
Much to my chagrin, there was a party store around the corner from where I grew up in Detroit, and this party store closed down. And I guess the company that goes in there to clean it out, they do all this stuff out in the parking lot. Well, I get off the bus, and literally this party store is like 4 or 5 minutes from my house. I can walk home and walk back. I seen the spinner rack, and I said, "Oh, they threw out Sam's spinner rack. I'm gonna go drop my book bag off and this project that I'm bringing home, and come back and get it."
It was gone.
Yeah, but if I would have took it and just carried it home, I'd have had it. I have a spinner rack I bought off of eBay. It's black and all slender and all 90s and stuff, but it's not the same. It's not the same. I'm gonna get one. I got my eyes on 2 of them.
Some guy has started a GoFundMe or such, and is making new ones
It won't be the same.
that look like the old ones.
It won't be the same.
So
Found it on Amazon.
they aren't cheap.
Yeah.
They aren't cheap.
Can you see me all right now?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Have you been
That's
getting
a
the
little better.
pictures of the comics? Have you been getting pictures of people like taking pictures of the Allegiance Arts shelving in stores?
Me personally?
Yeah.
I'm always posting them, and I encourage everybody, whoever buys these books, it doesn't have to just be Bass Reeves. Just send me pictures so I could post them on my Facebook and Instagram, because I appreciate the fans. They're the most important reason why we do this. So if they feel inclined, hit me up, send a private message, send a picture, and I'll be glad to post it. You know, keep it conservative. I had you know,
my wife's picture isn't conservative at all.
Yeah.
She's that's the old indie princess, and she's her picture
she's a gorgeous, beautiful lady, but I didn't think I could have posted that particular picture.
For some reason she just
take a new one.
yeah, she should take a new one. Yeah, she's gonna try to get a turtleneck or something on. But I do want to bring up the fact that Rob says it here. Bass Reeves was a great read, but it was horrible how the store set you up at how they set you up at the store. His particular store did not use the red Allegiance Arts box. They took all the comics out, put them on the top shelf in the book section, and then individually priced each comic.
Now the kids books.
What?
Yeah.
Sticker priced each comic.
Yeah, Mitch and Elizabeth are dealing with Walmart right now with that, and Walmart said that they're not going to do that on the next one, and they apologize. And as far as where the comics are supposed to be set up, the intention was they were supposed to be in where the video games and electronics were, and each individual Walmart has their own managers, and they just chose to do whatever they did, which is unfortunate. It's unfortunate for them because people actually want these books, and it would have been good sales for them and also for us, obviously. You want the foot traffic, and if you don't set up something consistently, even across Walmarts, it's going to reflect bad on them, and it's going to reflect bad on us. And we don't want it to reflect bad on us because we're busting our butts to try to give you quality comics that are on par with Marvel and DC, and you know, and this is how they treat us, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that's the picture from Rob's local Walmart. He's down in Florida, and you know, we expect it from Florida, don't we? We expect them. I'm just kidding. But yeah, that is.
Hopefully, it was just one or two isolated cases too.
Yeah.
Well, my question is, don't you guys have a merchandising contract with Walmart to have them set up where you wanted them to be set up? Isn't that in your contract?
I don't know all the fine details. Okay. Again, I'm pretty much work for hire, you know, so that's something you're gonna have to take up with.
Right. I would have thought that had been part of the deal, but you know, without one of them to ask, we probably don't know the answer to that.
Rob, I would assume that was part of the contract, but part of the deal, because they sent the point of purchase displays out to everybody.
Exactly.
Up to the individual managers as to whether or not they're going to adhere to that. So obviously, this one decided not to.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. I'd have to. Yeah.
And that's a shame.
It is.
The really cool thing is that if you don't want to walk into a Walmart, you can order these online at walmart.com and have them sent to you. Now, when they sent them to me, it was a manila envelope that had bubble wrap inside, and the first thing I thought is, oh no, these books are going to be mangled because of the mail. And I went and opened it up, and every last one of them was pristine. There wasn't a kink. Wow. There wasn't a defect on all of them. If you ever have you seen these books?
I was even in Walmart today, and I forgot to look.
Oh, when you find one, pick it up and look at it, because they're using a thicker paper stock than usual.
Oh, okay.
They're a 28-page book, but they comic, and normally that would be, you know, paper flopping all over the place. But the stock that they're using to print the books or to print the comics on,
still stapled,
is amazingly thick. Yeah, it's saddle stitched, just like a regular comic
stapled,
book.
Yeah, it's saddle stitched. Yeah.
What are you guys using? Like, I'm gonna have to find that.
Say what?
I was just wondering what the weight was.
Oh, you're showing. Yeah, I see it. Can you enlarge it so we can see?
Sure can. There we go.
Yeah. Let's see that.
Right out there. Yeah.
Oh, nice white.
Oh, that's sweet.
Oh yeah,
colors
it's
come
super
out.
white. It's a beautiful. They're all beautiful products.
That is sweet.
Incredibly good.
Yeah, that's nice. And I love the fact it's Bass Reeves. A
Yeah.
lot of people don't know who Bass Reeves is.
He's such a great story, an inspiration.
Yes. Yeah, Ron Fortier and I tried to put together a Bass Reeves comic about 6 or 7 years ago. Tried to sell it to the big companies.
Mhm.
We couldn't even get them to nibble.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. So I am
That's
so
beautiful.
happy to see you're doing this. Bass Reeves needs to be out there where people can learn who he is,
Hmm.
other than just the black and white movie character from Watchmen.
Right?
Yeah.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, that's a gorgeous book.
It
Nice
is.
work.
Thank you. Thank you.
That says, and again,
you-
they put these in the kids section. That BS
Hey,
is an insult to
Yeah,
all
comics are
comic
for
book creators.
kids only.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a preconceived notion on the part of the management.
Yep.
There, not Walmart itself, but the
No.
individual manager of the store.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
where that's coming from.
I got to find more Walmarts because the one nearest me that doesn't have it yet, or at least wherever it is, it's still a seek and find.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
I walked by the electronics section today in Walmart and didn't even look. Had forgotten this. You know, here I am in my mask going through Walmart, and I forgot all about it. I will next time I go, I'll have to look.
I got to say, I love that cover, man. It's so striking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's great. Work.
fantastic work,
great
man.
stuff. Can't
Thank
wait
you.
to take a look at it.
To
To our
the-
radio
the-
listeners, can you tell us what the book is about?
It's about a bountyman who was a black bountyman in the 1870s. We're doing ours in around 1874, 75. And on an artistic note about it, I wanted to make it kind of parallel 1975 or 74, so that's why we have such loud and funky colors
Oh yeah,
in here and
fun.
stuff like that. So, and the truth of the West, it wasn't as typical of what Hollywood would do or what a typical comic book artist would do is they would draw it and they would drown it in sepia tones. And that wasn't the truth about cowboys and westerns and all that kind of stuff in the actual time. They were very colorful.
Yeah,
And they loved colorful clothes.
yep.
And
I
they had
absolutely agree.
colorful furniture, and they were very decadent. It showed outwardly that's where they spent their money, like where we spend money on devices and all the latest sneakers. They did the same thing back then.
Holsters
because,
and guns were holsters and guns and
yeah,
stuff. Yeah,
Imports from Asia, as far as their silks and all that kind of stuff, they would, bandits would wear loud silk shirts just to show their status,
A lot of reds and
the loud
blues.
reds and blues and orange and just stuff that, you wouldn't expect.
Mhm.
And so that's why I wanted to do that with my, Bass Reeves. And I wanted to actually, kind of heighten the idea of the things that he did and was about. And so he was a slave at one point. He got out of that situation.
he was a runaway
and
slave.
he came
Yeah,
up. He never used that as an excuse as why he couldn't do anything. He was always a forward-thinking black man. And matter of fact, he was very successful cattleman as well, and
horse
so
rancher,
he was, he had cattle. He had 10 kids. He had, and he worked for the law. He has the largest arrest record of arrests in U.S. history still to this date, over 3,000.
he worked in the Oklahoma Territory.
Exactly.
Yep.
And there's people who debate whether or not he was the inspiration for the Lone Ranger, but I'll let you be
No.
the judge.
No,
He
no,
had,
that's been debunked.
he rode on a white horse. He had an Indian sidekick. he would give silver trinkets to children. He would go in disguise and catch the outlaws that he had to go catch. Now, who does that sound like?
All right.
The Lone Ranger, right?
Lone Ranger?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's people who say that
that's
no,
been
he was
debunked.
not the
There's a whole
inspiration for the
book
Lone Ranger.
I think
Say
he
again?
doesn't need to have the Lone Ranger based on him. I think his story all by itself is big enough that why add the Lone Ranger into that? Because that's the writer of one of his books about him tried to make that comparison to try and sell his books. And there another writer later on, Martin Graham,
I'm not using it as a tool to sell him.
That's not true.
So you don't think that it was
No,
all
not at all.
of those are just coincidences?
I don't know that he did all those things. But
There's books that said that he did.
There's no proof that the guy, Fran Stryker, who created the Lone Ranger, there's no proof that he even knew Bass Reeves existed. There's no connection that can be made there. So
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying, but it's hard for me to believe that all of those coincidences came up and he created this thing out of whole cloth. This guy who had all of the exact same attributes.
However, I'll steal from anybody. I'm getting ready to steal a couple characters myself. Actually, I've stolen Randy's character about 3 or 4 times. I got
at least
he's got a character that she got electric powers, and I thought at first that I want to take a character that Randy created and I'm going to like use her. And then I decided, screw that. I'm taking everything, the name and everything. He'll never use it. And what's Randy gonna do? What's Randy gonna do? Sue me? I ain't got nothing. Real quick, Emily asked, are the books available anywhere except for Walmart? No, they're Walmart exclusive, right? They are Walmart exclusive. You can order them from Walmart.com. And if you missed out, Legion's had a bundle for a while on their Indiegogo campaign, but they don't have that anymore. But I think that's closed out now. I know some people did get that campaign. And then we've got but Walmart, your Walmart should have them. Actually, I hope your Walmart doesn't have them. I hope they're sold out. But if they do, they do have them. So I'm pretty sure they have tons of them. Also, real quick, because I promised we would do this, I do want to talk about this. Now, Travis, did I share it? I thought I was sharing it. Why am I not sharing it?
I don't see it.
1 second.
Oh, no, I like sharing. Sharing is caring.
Travis has The Last Patrol, which, Travis, I got to apologize to you. When I first saw this, it says, sorry, there's a funny joke here. Rob says Vera will be selling them on Last Call Comics in a few weeks. Yeah, I'm going to be selling Spark books. It's going to be straight rips of the strip that I'll cut out the paper and just republish as a book. I got to apologize. When I first saw The Last Patrol, I seen a screenshot of the art. I thought it was another piece of art from Door Kickers. At first, and then I'm like, wait a minute, that's a different book, and it looks really good. Erik brought it to my attention.
Eric's a good guy.
That Dreaded Dinosaur, and he has. And you're right now. You've got 20 days left. You've already funded technically. I mean, you got whatever what you want. Yeah. And your book is about. It's true stories. It's about some of the things you experienced in your time in the military.
Yeah, so I was an Army infantryman for 15 years, from 1999 to 2014. I was medically retired after some injuries needed to be taken care of beyond what the Army could do. I had some spinal damage. I can walk and move and all that, so that's awesome. But this is one particular night in Iraq. I did multiple deployments to Iraq and one to Afghanistan. And, the story is 18 American soldiers out on what we thought of as a typical patrol. Suddenly we're ambushed and it's up to us to survive the night. So it's a really important story to me to tell. And so far, 240 people, I can't really read that, but 240 backers so far, so they want to see it. I'm an artist as well, but I didn't feel that I could do the story justice. So I brought on my oldest friend, Scott McDaniel, who actually taught me how to draw. He's famous for Batman, Nightwing, Green Arrow, just a laundry list of books that he's worked with. He came on and did the penciling, and it just looks absolutely fantastic. And he really did it a lot of justice. So I'm super, super proud of how it's turning out.
Let me play the video real quick for everyone.
Absolutely.
Wait, does the video have any music in it?
It does, but I own it.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, here we go. I'm going to play them. Let me make sure that I shared that music first. All right, that I shared that 1 second. Give me 1 minute. I'll go here and I'll make sure we click it. All right, there we go.
I had to find music with the blah at the end, like Inception.
that's the Zack Snyder.
Can I just say thank you? I am the mother of a soldier.
Thank your soldier for me.
He's been in 16 years.
Oh, wow.
He's a master sergeant and weapons specialist in the Air Force. So,
that's awesome.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
I went to military school and I was this close to going to the military. In fact, I had a recruiter that called my house and he was like, "Hey, listen," because the military school, they sent us to camp, sent us to Fort Custer, made us learn how to do all this other stuff, and they liked the fact that I could work with computers really well. And the recruiter called and said, "Hey, I'm gonna come get you," and he used a lot of cool words. He said, "I'm gonna come get you and mom." By this point, my father passed away. "I'm gonna come get you and mom and take you guys out to dinner. Where do you want to go?" And I'm like, I don't know. I like Red Lobster. Red Lobster it is, he said. "We'll go to Red Lobster, me, you, and mom. We'll talk about the future." And I said, okay. Now, I was excited. And David, what I'm talking about, I was excited for those Cheddar Bay biscuits because at the time, you couldn't go to the store and get Cheddar Bay biscuits. You couldn't buy them. You had to go to Red Lobster and get them. I was excited. Well, I realized something. When he said, "Okay, I'll call back this weekend," he didn't. Okay, I was gone when he called back because we weren't going out that weekend. He called back and my mother answered the phone. I don't know what she said to that man, but he never called back again. My military dreams were dashed. I have my father was in the military. I got uncles who were in the military. For some reason, I could not go to the military. And I remember that they ain't gonna take my only baby. They're not gonna take my only baby. And I'm like, but a future is right. That what? Hey,
he wanted them damn cheddar biscuits.
Yeah, I'm like, I was first the Cheddar Bay biscuits were gone. They're gone. Can't get them. They're gone. Now, I mean, I can get them, but I gotta pay for them. And now, the military, no college grant, no GI Bill, no nothing. It's gone. I'm like, Mom, I'm not very smart. The military might have been all I had, but yeah, she took that from me, took it from me. I'm sorry, there's noise around me. Sorry. I think that's very interesting that I see a lot of people that are coming out of the military though, and they're making books based on almost their experiences. Were you did you want to go to the military because of GI Joe? Because a friend of mine did.
I love GI Joe comics. I have like 160 issues that Larry Hama wrote. It was absolutely one of my favorites of all time. But no, I needed to pay for college somehow. Mm-hmm. We were just poor enough, so my parents couldn't send me on their own, and just rich enough so that I couldn't get any like Pell Grants or any of that. Like I get a Pell Grant, but I couldn't get any of the other stuff. And I spent all my time in high school drawing, so my grades weren't good enough for scholarships. So initially joined the Army just to, do my couple of years and get my GI Bill and get out. And then there was a war and I got lost and, eventually it was like, oh, I'm just going to make a career out of it. And then I had to have brain surgery and a couple spinal surgeries. And I can't do what Barbara does because you might not be able to see it on the camera, but my right hand trembles too much.
You get to be my age and it does too.
Plus I love coffee. So, but I just thought that it was a really important action story to tell. And there's not a lot of good military graphic novels or comics out there right now. So if anybody from IDW is watching and you need a new writer for G.I. Joe, not with a question mark at the end, but with a period, you go ahead and call me.
I would be so thrilled to see vets writing G.I. Joe.
Why not?
I think I would just buy every copy I could see.
Well, I mean, the definition of G.I. Joe, the stories that Larry Hama wrote, he's an Army vet.
Yeah.
That is odd because you think that they're so focused on making sure that you have that experience of that character to make sure you write them, and that's the one avenue they haven't gone down. They haven't made sure that
there's too many elements that disrespect the military and their service members.
Now,
why do you want to do G.I. Joe? Why don't you create your own?
Well, because like Ace said earlier, that would just be me copying. One of the questions coming in.
We had a question. The guy who wrote in, his name is Ace, and he was very mad about something. His question said, why are all, yes, I mean all, well, I'll put it up, that way you can see it. He said, why are all, yes, I mean all, these independent creators and publishers trying to copy paste Marvel, DC, Image? I've seen straight up ripoffs, not just in character concepts and design, but trade dress, design, aesthetic, and more. The strength of indie is being able to do whatever the hell we wanted without corporate supervision or intrusion. At least that's the way it was back on Haight Ashbury when I was breaking in. Before the pussification of the whole goddamn system. Pathetic. His name is Ace. And he was pissed, and I finally found somebody grumpier about comics than Randy.
Now, Travis, I remember that a while back you had our mutual friend Josh do a logo for Last Resort. So you've been planning this book for a while. When was it? What was the genesis where you're like, you know what, this is the story that I want to tell as a comic?
So I actually started in 2006. But I didn't feel that my writing was strong enough, so I spent a lot of time writing and rewriting and blah, blah, blah. And then about, God, I don't even know how long, 2013 maybe, Scott and I started working on it. And I found that I have a whole lot of free time during this pandemic. So I'm like, you know what, let's get this done. Let's do this. So it's been a slow burn. Hopefully my next book is not a slow simmer like this one, but.
Well, the pages look beautiful and I can't wait to see them in color.
Thanks. I actually went and made the logo.
Nice.
My son's in 16 years into a 20. So yeah, I'm going to have to look at your book.
That last 4 years is so, I was right there at that 15th year and had to have brain surgery. And they're like, well, thanks for coming out.
Yeah, bye-bye, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, I had to drive. They called me and they're like, "Hey, Sergeant Miller, I retired as a staff sergeant." They're like, "Hey, Sergeant Miller, we're gonna retire you, so we need you to come in and do this paperwork." I'm like, "I just had surgery 2 weeks ago. I still have this thing on my neck, and I can't move my head."
I noticed you got original art pages for 300. Bucks. And that leads to one of my other questions. I do love original art. I've been trying to actually start a larger original art collection because a friend of mine has one and I'm really upset about it. And I thought about that and I was looking today. I'm like, I should contact more artists I know about original art. And it dawned on me today too. David, original art for Bass Reeves. Are you going to make it available anytime soon or?
Nope.
Okay. That was short
Love
and
that
simple.
answer.
Did
I
you
love that
did you
answer.
work on paper or did you work digitally?
It's all on paper.
I don't know.
Oh, good. Good for you.
Hold on, let me see.
Nice.
Let me make that larger.
Yes.
Oh wow,
That is gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Look at
Yeah,
that.
gorgeous.
I love that style. I love your style.
That's amazing.
It's fantastic.
Great
Beautiful.
stuff.
Oh, so wait, it's not.
Um,
You're not selling. You're
I'm-
giving it.
Now I'm giving all this art to my my wife and my kids.
Mhm.
Yep.
So it's for them to sell. Hopefully after I'm not here anymore, because dead man art is worth more than people who are alive.
I
Your
told
legacy.
Randy that. I told Randy that, but he won't. He makes fun of me every time.
I do.
I told Randy
I
that.
admit it.
Randy picks on me because I'm a fan of Mike Turner, and they recently did a campaign on Mike Turner stuff.
Mm.
And Randy's like, and then I mean, at this point, they
No,
look at we are.
I don't pick
Oh.
on. I don't pick on you for that. I pick on you because you don't know anybody who was in the business before Michael Turner.
Well, and he's like,
Well, now he does.
Now he does. Yeah, he's slowly getting an education here. Yeah.
He's like that. I think it was you or someone that said like they're literally ripping pages out of his Mike Turner sketchbook, framing them and
Yeah.
selling them for thousands of dollars. Like, and these are very rough sketches. These aren't.
Mhm.
These aren't like finished sketches. These are like literally squares. Or hey, Mike Turner sneezed on this at one point.
You'll have to run over to the Divinity Kickstarter. I've got some kick-ass art over there.
That's what
I
I'm
do too.
I'm moving over there now. I've lost some of my hope that was in the back.
Got original pieces from Kevin West, Mel Ruby, Rick Hoberg, Jeff Johnson.
And Rob Davis is shuffling
Wow.
through his art. I can see it from here.
It might
Oh wow, shuffle.
it might help if I was actually on Kickstarter for the Divinity. It's funny looking through so many
Oh, look at that. There we go.
looking through
This
so
one's
many.
already been purchased.
Uh-oh.
So I got the
Yeah.
okay,
Up there.
there's the one that's together.
And there's the cover. Whoop.
Sweet.
Nice.
So I got
That's Mel Ruby. That's with my inks.
beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
I
So
love
there's the Divinity Kickstarter and Twilight Grimm together. And you can save yourself some time by just backing both.
That's right. We did it. Well, the thing is, Silverline's got so many books in the pipeline that we couldn't do single Kickstarters anymore. So we decided to start doing double headers because otherwise we'd be doing one Kickstarter a month, and everybody would be bored with us.
Mhm.
We
I
don't want that.
pledged $1,414 of a $6,000 goal. Almost said $60,000 goal. Wow, guys.
Yeah.
This just went live today, right?
Yes.
Noon Eastern. Yeah.
Yep.
Sweet.
Oh wow.
24 days ago. Yeah, not bad. 33 backers so far. I'll probably take part in this one here because I mean I get 2 books for just it's because I'm imagining they'll ship at the same time, all right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. They're done. They're ready to go. All they need to do is go to the printer once this is finished.
Yeah, they're going to
Once
put
the Kickstarter is finished.
Yep, they're going to put all the people that contributed to the Kickstarter on a page and then send it off to the printer.
Yep. I got some real nice comments from Kevin Van Hook and Maggie Thompson on there for Divinity.
Yes,
Some reviews.
saw that. That's great.
Mhm. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I mean, like I said, I've inked for 30 years, and I've inked over some of the biggest names in the business, and for some of the biggest companies in the business. I spent almost 10 years with DC and some with Marvel at the same time. But I was pushing 60, and I'm thinking to myself, if I'm ever going to do something for myself, I better get off my ass and do it. So I put myself out there, and I'm nervous, I'm scared, but like I said, if you're going to push the envelope, you've only got a finite time to do that. So here I am.
Now, since you have this Well, now that you guys are doing this, the Twilight Grimm accidentally what was it called, Randy? What were we calling it?
What, who? No. It's called Twilight Grimm.
Twilight Grimm. We got
Twilight Grimm.
Yeah, we that's yours. Now explain to us real quick what that's about.
What Twilight Grimm is about?
Yeah.
Well, I wish RA were here. He'd do a much better job than I would. But it's about, the story starts out with a young lady who gets who's in this world, this city that's been divided in half, and one side is all the middle and upper class folks who live on one side, and the other side is all the homeless folks and the vampires all live on the other side of this wall that's been built between the two cities. And this one young lady at the very beginning of the story, her name's Susie Q, has been arrested for some crime. So the first issue's been done for so long, I don't remember exactly what she did. But she's been tossed over onto the bad side, and come to find out, Twilight Grimm, this character, rescues her and takes her to a church, and the rest of the story is about his battling with the vampires and such, and it gets into that there has been, because that wall has been built, there's been a truce between the light side and the dark side here, and that's about to break down, and Twilight Grimm has learned about that, and the next issue is the beginnings of that battle.
And then now, since you have, I'm sorry about that, for some reason I'm getting some cross interference.
A little bit of cross feedback there,
yeah. Now you have, let me see here, I'm gonna make that okay. So there we go. We got there's the Divinity cover. Mm-hmm. There's the Twilight Grimm cover.
That's beautiful.
And when do you guys expect for these to be shipped? I know it says July 2020.
I think Roland has the ship.
Yeah, yep, July 2020. Yeah.
It's August.
He's got July. He's got July up.
He's got July on there.
Yeah. July is on here. There's the creative team. Oh,
yeah,
so
RA.
Yeah, RA can't come on here. I won't be able to tell him, you, and Randy apart.
The problem RA has is he doesn't have. He's not a technophobe, but he's not very technical savvy. He doesn't have. I don't think he's got a very modern computer that he uses. I don't think he's got an iPad or anything like that. So I don't think he's capable of coming on to do this sort of thing.
Yeah, could you imagine?
I wish he could, because man can tell stories like you wouldn't believe.
I can't imagine a show. I can't imagine a show for all you guys on there. All I gotta do is roll Scott Roseman there. I'll be lost. Everyone would be older than me at that point, though. It's speaking of older than me, I'm gonna bring in someone I'm pretty sure has questions real quick.
What?
Questions?
Who's got questions? Somebody got.
I have to check out, guys.
Okay. David, thank you for joining us. Yeah, no, I appreciate you coming in.
Love your book. For coming on. Congratulations on that book.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go look for it now because that artwork is just stunning, and I have to go study it now.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous of it. I'm jealous of their artwork. It's a gorgeous book, and on top of that, it is for me, seeing a comic book in Walmart, all of the Allegiance books in Walmart is fascinating. But especially knowing that, hey, I know David Williams. He's a friend of mine on Facebook. I have to harass him about this. And Dave's been very nice about letting me harass him about it. He hasn't told me go away yet. So Dave, thank you for coming on. Yeah, thank you for coming on. Please keep us up to date with what's going on in the world of Bass Reeves and your other projects as well.
Will do.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yeah. Yep.
Thank you. Nice meeting you all.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Now let's see. I got so now we know that your book is. Let me see here. All right, there we go. We know that your book is again. These are coming out in July. Travis, I forgot to look and see when your book was. Hold on, real quick. I will.
I put a ship date of September on there, just so that I can under promise and over deliver. Hopefully,
that's the way to go.
No, because I worked as a senior art director and advertising executive. I hate deadlines that are far too short. And there's a lot of moving pieces to this. We're nailing down the printer. You know, we still have some art left to do. I'm actually rewriting the ending a little bit. You know, just to. Well, has anybody else seen that Chris Hemsworth movie, Extraction?
Yes.
I keep meaning to watch it.
Yes.
Okay. It's great.
Andy
Don't
Parks
watch
is
the
a
last
friend of
10
mine,
minutes.
The guy that came up with the idea that did the
No,
graphic
just stop.
novel. Love it.
Just stop at the last 10 minutes of that movie because the ending is super disappointing. And after
It
rereading
gives you hope in the end. It gives you a glimmer.
there shouldn't be. Okay, no spoilers. So, but
I
after
liked
watching
it.
that, I reread my script. I wasn't super happy with the ending. So going back and rewriting it a little bit, and actually because we did so well on the Indiegogo, we actually added 4 pages. So,
Very cool.
you know, if we get
Fair, fair.
if we get more,
Nice,
you know, if we can raise more, then we can add more pages, which is, you know, great because then everybody gets more.
Phil
Who doesn't
Locklear
love
in the
more?
house. Evening, Phil.
And then advocating channel says G.I. Joe copy real servicemen. Feel free to make a better version. And I think that
Did it though? Did it?
well, I don't know. I mean, I think
Is there a real lifeline?
Listen, I'll tell you this. I was funny. I was walking through Comic-Con, and I have these weird epiphanies at Comic-Con, and one of them was I was sitting at the table, and I thought, oh my goodness, if I was running for office, the headline would be candidate Varian Grant soft on terrorism. And I thought about it and I realized, oh my God, G.I. Joe made me soft on terrorism and terrorists. Like, because Cobra was a terrorist organization. But I'm like, they were buffoons. They couldn't do anything right. And
I don't like that term terrorist organization for Cobra. They're actually a non-state actor.
See, and exactly, like there were different people from all different walks of life who apparently hated America. And I mean, and I don't care what Eric says. Destro was not black. The movie proved that.
No, he's Scottish.
Yeah. See, there, he's Scottish now. I know in the cartoon he had like the lips and the bald head, and I can understand how you might have thought, but there was no black members of Cobra. He was. He should have been. And if it was a black member of Cobra, it was Zartan.
These are the kind of discussions that Varian and Eric get into on long drives, going to conventions.
It is.
Long drives.
It is
going to conventions.
Yeah, they're really long because I do most of the driving.
Yeah. He's.
My question about Cobra has always been, where the hell did all the henchmen come from?
Yeah,
like you have
a
moderately trained force of guys in blue suits with N95 masks. Where the fuck are they all coming from?
It's the same planet.
They must have a hell of an incentive package, I'll tell you that. And benefits. Dental.
Like, do you know how hard it is to get a job as a private military contractor? You have to have certain requirements, or they don't even look at you. But Cobra's just like, can you wear a black N95 mask? Well, come on then. You know,
do you like snake-themed military equipment?
Well, we all should have plenty of practice now.
Do you like snake-themed military equipment? Do you mind if your boss has a weird lisp? Like,
you know what? Cobra Commander was when I was, and that's the other reason why I'm soft on terrorism. I couldn't convict him of anything. That Chris Lauda's voice as Cobra Commander at Starscream.
Oh man!
And as a child, I never placed the two together.
Have you watched Roadhouse yet? Because he's in that.
No, I haven't.
You need to watch that.
I haven't. But it's just funny because now at the same time, I also thought Starscream was a girl. I thought Starscream was Megatron's girlfriend for years.
Well, he's definitely Megatron's bitch.
Well, it was weird because I thought about that and I'm like, you know what? Megatron used to hit Starscream, like knock him the hell out. And I thought that was his girlfriend. And I was a child and I was okay with that. And I'm
like a robotic version of the Honeymooners.
Yeah, like what's wrong with me as a person? Like, know, she should listen. I mean, it was
What's
like,
wrong with them crazy cartoons? What are they teaching them kids?
Yeah,
Can't think about this stuff too much, man. It'll hurt the brain.
Yeah, it does. Oh my goodness, I'm having flashbacks now. Oh God.
Transformers flashback.
Yeah. That's okay. I actually just recently bought some DVD collections. I do want to ask you
That
guys a
explains
question.
a lot.
Oh yeah, a bunch of DVD. Voltron, Ninja Turtles.
Yep.
It's gonna be an 80s marathon for me this weekend, and 90s, I guess. So I know we had the question about earlier that said when you know you want to do comics, but from iNDIEVOLT Radio right now, which 21,904 people listening on iNDIEVOLT Radio.
That's great.
I hope that you all will visit these.
Thank you all for joining us. Yeah.
Thank you.
We appreciate each and every one of you.
Yeah, we do, and I really hope that you all jump over to iNDIEVOLT Radio and iNDIEVOLT on YouTube and like and subscribe over there. I would like to ask you guys. We all, I think, in a way, at some point, had our hearts broken by comics.
Oh yeah.
Besides knowing that you wanted to be here, what made you stay?
Oh, it's like the herpes. It's a virus. Once you get it, you can never get rid of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's in the
I
blood.
have sequential herpes.
Right.
There's no vaccine.
I don't know what that's like.
There's
I
no
don't really know.
vaccine and no cure.
Yep.
Yeah. Once you get the comics virus, it's
You're done.
yeah, you have it forever. I tried to get out. I mean,
They kicked me out and I came back.
well, I was the same as Rob. The business imploded, and I lost my contacts, my editors at DC, and I've been doing 2 books a month for 12 years. Work 7 days a week, and I was kind of burnt out. And once they left, I was like, okay. My husband was like, look, time to get a real job. So I went out into the Muggle world for a while, and I swore I'd never come back. And but it's like an itch; you got to scratch it, So I ended up coming back.
It's in the blood.
Rob, you had your heart broken, but you they kicked you out. You were done.
Yes, and I didn't mention it when I talked about it earlier, but I was working on the Star Trek books at DC and Malibu, and then Marvel, which was they were gobbling up everything at the time. They gobbled up Malibu.
Yeah, that was another thing.
Yeah, and told us all, oh, nobody's going to lose their job, and I went right. And then, but I was working on the Star Trek books, and I thought, well, they'll absorb those, they'll take them over to Marvel, and I'll just move over there.
Yeah.
Well, the editor, and I don't know if this was something that came down from above her or what, but I believe it was Bobby Chase, was the editor. And when I applied, I essentially got back, well, we're not hiring anybody who worked on the books before. We're going to go with all new people. We're going to go with big names.
So did they reboot the book entirely?
Yeah.
So everything that you had done before was just...
up until then, DC had Star Trek and Star Trek The Next Generation, and Malibu had Deep Space Nine, and then got the rights to do Voyager. And I had actually been tapped to be the regular artist on the Voyager book they were going to do. I even did like a 4-page introduction that was shoved in at the end of I can't remember whether it was, I think it was a Deep Space Nine short story that we did, and we had like a 4-pager in the back that was supposed to be the lead-in to the Voyager book, and then Marvel yanked it from Malibu and came down with this decree that no one who'd written the books before, no one who had drawn the books before, no one who had inked the books before would be hired to work on any of the books at Marvel.
If you even touched the book, if you carried the books from your table to the copier, it wasn't happening.
Just about.
Travis, you had your heart broken by comics, especially reading them, I suppose. That breaks mine every day. I pick up Marvel, I'm like, why is this happening? What did I do? Why stay in? Why jump in?
Honestly, I haven't read a comic in like a decade. I didn't like, what? I've bought a couple here and there just because there's a specific artist that I like and I want to see their work, and But the stories in a lot of comics lately have just not been what I wanted to read. So, like, well, I have the tools, I have the talent, I'll make my own. And I'll make stories I want to read.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do.
When I came back, it was like everybody who'd forgotten who I was, and I was like, screw it, I'll make my own.
Yeah.
Well, I'm already working on my next book, and it started off as a pitch that I had talked with to DC like 2005-ish for Challengers of the Unknown, and nobody wanted it. I'm like, all right, cool. This is my concepts. Just change up the characters a little bit, and so that's going to be the next book.
Yeah.
There you go.
Very cool. Very cool.
That is, and Eric, listen. Wait, you're a lot like me. I got to preface your answer.
Okay.
You're a lot like me.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah.
I don't have an animal living on my head, but
No. Yeah, you're not stylish. I mean, I didn't say you were stylish.
I can't get the cat to stay there. I don't know how you do it.
It's not a cat. Anyway.
Now, I joke that every time I try to go do something else, something puts me right back into comics. Every time I try to do something else. To the point where God told me, I'm going to cripple you so that you have to sit at your art desk. Keep on. And I'm like, I can still do this. I can still do this. Okay. I'm going to give you, you'll make you sit down. You're going to sit down for a while till you can finish this. And Eric, I all jokes aside, you draw more now and probably better than you did before when you still had full use of your hands.
Oh yeah.
So
well, I got these things are so gnarly. I have no choice but to impress people with them. So,
but you still are here. Your heart's been broken by comics. You kind of feel that but you're still here. Why? Why not give up? Why not?
Well, yeah, because I haven't bought a mainstream book in forever, and I had given up. The last title that I was collecting was Red Sonja, and the story direction took a change, and I was reading dialogue coming out of Barbarian's mouth that should have sounded like it came from a episode of 21 Jump Street, and I'm like, what the hell is this crap? And that was the last mainstream comic I bought from any of the bigger companies. I didn't start my passion for buying and reading comics again until I discovered some of the guys I know and call friend in Comicsgate and Alterna Comics. And since then it's been like, you know what, I can't wait to have my Roddy Piper book out, get my Dreaded Dinosaur book out, because I want to be a part of this party. And I want to be, and I'm always excited for when I see something of quality. Now, not everything that's floating around on Kickstarter and Indiegogo is a quality, but when I see something that outshines my expectations for Marvel and DC, I am impressed, and I can't wait to read that. And I try to back as many as I can. So, really, I think that's what kind of brought me back as a comics fan, because like these back here, that's all Silver Age stuff. That's all classics. That's what I was collecting. I wasn't touching any modern stuff. The modern stuff now, it's all the indies, and I'm so happy to give this a second chance, because my first chance back in 2005, when you all started meeting me with my little black and white Melby comic, that fizzled out, but that was all me passionately trying, and I was learning along the way. And now, I've got this Roddy Piper's almost in my rearview mirror. Learned a lot of lessons from that Indiegogo, not repeating those mistakes with my Dreaded Dinosaur one, and loving the technology where it's at. Things like Webtoon. It's just a great way to tell stories on there for the digital age. And I couldn't be anywhere else. So unless my hands get run over by a truck and I have to start drawing with my feet or little nubs, I guess I'm just stuck here.
So you want Daniel Day-Lewis to play you in a movie? That's what you're saying.
I think so. Yeah.
That's what that whole thing was out.
Well,
if Dr. Fauci can get Brad Pitt.
Wait, is that World War Z? Brad Pitt zombie movie?
Almost.
There you go.
Is it Robert De Niro playing Governor Cuomo?
I would like to be
Actually,
played,
Robert Mueller.
although you know what, I would no, I'm not gonna say that. Well, it was just very funny that Kanye West had said that if there's ever a biopic about him, he wants a white actor to play him, and I was like, that's a damn good idea. like that. I wonder how pissed off I can get people. Like, I'm gonna get an Asian guy to play me.
Dude, it's taking trolling to another level. I love it.
Yeah. It's just everybody go see the Martin Luther King movie. It's starring. We used to joke about that. Me and my friend, a good friend of mine through high school, we had this joke that whenever there was a character in a movie that it was like the character was black in the source material and he was turned white in the source material, he was turned black in the movie, we used to joke that we were being set up for something. So like, like they're gonna set us up, man. Just wait. We're gonna have Martin Luther King in the movie with Robin Williams. Just wait. And it never happened, but we were waiting for it to happen. That didn't happen. But eventually, I would like to be I have my own biopic, and I want two of them, like Steve Jobs had. I want the one where they hire somebody who kind of looks like me, versus the one where they hire
Denzel Washington.
Yeah, like he's way taller.
So one has Denzel and one has Michael Fassbender.
Yeah, exactly. What the heck? Well, Josh says, ways to Travis, welcome to the danger zone. And says,
Josh, my buddy, how you doing?
What the F? White Scarlett Johansson, Kanye BS stream that I stream into. Yeah. And then Kino Subway says, hey, hell, Eric. Mr.
Hell, how's it going?
But
wait a minute. Did Eric have his own comment?
Did Eric have?
Did you write that last one?
No,
that was Josh.
Oh,
that was Josh. This is he missed out on the White Piper book back when, but looking forward to the next project you crowdfund. Seen Steel City Con postponed till August. Hope to see you there.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. Hopefully, it won't get postponed again because Steel City is one of my favorite shows, and it's just it's still they bring in the celebrities, but it's still also a good Comic-Con, and that's a great one if you're looking for some Silver Age book because there's a lot of dealers there and they got some rare stuff. There's always something I'm always going to find something there that I wouldn't find at most big shows. So
I just got the official warning that I am at 24,000 listening right now on INDIEVOLT Live, which means that
we love them all.
Which means that I'm going to get a nice email from the server company tomorrow saying more bandwidth
money. Yes.
Yeah.
So please, if you're listening, go to YouTube. Please subscribe. Click the bell for notifications. Help us get the INDIEVOLT YouTube channel to profitability, and we can keep pumping out content like this.
That's right, because otherwise I ain't been stimulated yet. Y'all don't have to wait till I get my check.
We need to get enough subscribers so that we can start getting super chats in so that we can pay for Varian's additional bandwidth.
Yes, my bandwidth and my trifling comic book habit.
Your absinthe habit.
I got an
habit. Yeah.
Absinthe and energy drink habit to basically take care of. I don't know if you guys know this, but Lola smokes 2 packs of cigarettes a day. And
no, I do not.
See, and she has to be she has to be taken care of. Travis will go back to Pittsburgh for you.
You take out a bank loan for those? My God.
I don't know about that, Josh. There's a reason I moved to Arizona.
There we go.
Well,
I love the cold though.
Well, Scott McDaniel won't do shows outside of Pittsburgh, so we got to bring you back and have you and him at Steel City Con at a table for a signing. We got to make that happen.
Maybe I might be able to couch surf out there.
Yeah,
I will. I have to ask you guys this now, and I'm going to put all your links in the video description for this video so people can go crowdfund and go over to those services and crowdfund and make sure they get those books. However, and we will be checking into until your campaign's close to see where you're at. Just one of the things we like to do on the show.
Yeah, I double checked, and the book It's supposed to be out in July.
July, okay.
You said July earlier. That's correct.
And
so-
of course, we only wish you the very best of luck on all the campaigns.
Yeah. And they are done. You're
Oh, yeah, yep.
I'm
I still
working
haven't done
on
my
number 2
elevator
right
pitch.
Yeah.
I still haven't done my elevator pitch for Divinity.
Yo, go ahead.
There
Let's
we
hear it.
go. Do it.
All right.
Let's
Front and center.
Varian,
All
can
right.
you pull that up?
Sure, I can. 1 second. Why am I not? Oh, yeah, I am.
Actually, guys, I have to get going.
Okay.
It is dinner time for me. I'm 3 hours behind y'all.
Oh, sorry.
3 hours behind. All right.
Yeah, you're out in Arizona, so yeah.
Yeah.
It was nice to meet you, Travis.
Travis,
It was a
nice
pleasure
to-
meeting you guys. Thank you.
You are
I
welcome
hope
back
to be
on.
back
You had to
sometime.
come back on, sir.
Yeah, Travis,
Awesome.
thanks a
I
lot
look
for
forward
coming
to
on.
it. Yep.
It's great meeting you.
Thank you, guys.
Yep.
You have a great night.
You
See you,
too.
Travis.
Take care.
All right, and then I'm gonna bring in, just so I have a nice even amount of people. I want to okay. Let's bring back Divinity, and
That's
here
not-
we
that's
go.
not Divinity, is it?
Yeah, this is the this is the
okay,
double.
there we go. Yep.
Now you guys have, you guys have 3 campaigns running right now. One for Divinity, one for Twilight Grimm, and then the one for both.
Yeah, we have a
Okay.
flip book that allows you to buy both of them.
Mhm.
Now Divinity is I've always been interested in the power of healing, and about a couple of years ago, I have a very close family member that got cancer, and the one thing I wanted to be able to do more than anything was to heal him. Obviously, that's not something you can do, but and then I got to thinking about it. I mean, if you actually had the power to heal, would you consider it to be a blessing or a curse?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like it would be cool, right? To be able to heal with a touch, but would it really? What would your life be like if you actually could do that? So Divinity Gray. Divinity Gray is an 11-year-old girl who's got the ability to heal. Her parents are mysteriously killed. So her 24-year-old brother, who is a Marine, is given a hardship discharge to come home and care for her. He doesn't know anything about this. He gets home and he starts investigating the death of his dad and his stepmom, and then stumbles on the fact that his little sister can heal. And about that time, things start to happen, and they end up having to go on the run from an evil cabal who wants to get their hands on Divinity, and it becomes a road trip eventually, where they're running from religious fanatics and big pharma and dictators who want to get their hands on her, and people want to pimp out her skills, and the government, black ops, stuff like that. It's not, and somewhere along the way, they have to learn how to become a family because they don't really know each other that well. They're 13 years apart, right? And they eventually hook up with a fellow Marine that's out of the service. Her name is Olivia Barnes, and they become this trio that becomes a road trip eventually. So I hope it, piques people's interest. And we have a tween and a Marine. Doesn't always work out very well. That's my pitch.
Sweet.
Wow, sounds like a great story. Would make an amazing movie.
I think it could replace Supernatural. See,
There you go.
Yep.
and I didn't want to have spandex. I have no spandex. She's the only one that's got powers, And I didn't have to have any supervillains because God knows there's plenty of evil in the real world. So we just made them real people in blue jeans.
Now, is this a one and done, or is this like a number one and
It's one
several
of four.
One
Yeah,
of
it's
four?
one of four, but it leaves it on a cliffhanger. It doesn't wrap up the story in 4 issues. It wraps up the first story arc, but leaves lots of questions so that you wonder. By the end of the 4th issue, they're just setting out on the road, and it leaves it open for all the future stories.
Wow.
That's interesting. I do plan on picking Divinity up, and I like the fact that when I was looking at the art, and you talk very highly of your artist, which is always nice to hear. So,
Oh yeah, Alex. Alex is I have to tell you the story of getting Alex. I had to find a penciler, and I was climbing through DeviantArt and Facebook, and I get this private message on Facebook just out of the blue, and it's his name is Alex Sarabia. He lives in Mexico, and he friended me on Facebook, and he says, "Barb, I'm a huge fan. I've always wanted to work with you, and I hope to do that someday. And I got curious, and I went over to his Facebook page, and I'm going, holy shit, this guy is amazing. And so I messaged him back, and I said, how about right now?
made his day, I bet.
That's right. And that's how I hooked up with Alex. He's just fantastic.
Is there any pictures of the interiors?
Yeah, I think I got some. Hold on one second. There's some on the campaign. Let me move down here.
Yeah, that's the Alex Ruby cover.
Yeah, and there's some
or the Mel Ruby cover.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Nice.
I've got art. Several friends have donated art for this. I've got Kevin West, Jeff Johnson, Mel Ruby, Rick Hoberg, maybe a couple more coming along before all is said and done. The COVID-19 has kind of interrupted a couple of things.
Yeah.
A couple of people were going to do art for it, actually came down sick. So.
And this art is this is hand colored too.
Yes, hand colored
Yeah.
by Steve Matson. He used to work in the industry many years ago. He did Boris the Bear and worked for DC for a while. And he was reluctant to come back because he goes, "Oh, nobody wants to see hand colors anymore." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?
Oh.
Everybody sees digital now. Now hand coloring."
The craft is making a comeback.
Yeah, I says this is real boutique now. You know, hey, I can say it's hand colored.
Barbara, can you tell us real quick, because I want to hear kind of like a live reaction. I'm pretty sure Rob is listening. He's in the room, but
there he is.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
No. I'm not. Don't worry.
Say his name and show up.
Yeah, he does. Didn't he say his name? He shows up. I know you don't say names, but what happened when you showed your inking work to a publisher at a company? I know you don't have to say the name, but what you were told.
Yeah, that was when very first time I ever went out to DC Comics back in the early 80s. And I just done an 11-issue run on Planet of the Apes and went to New York and showed him my portfolio. And the editor was like looking through it and he goes, wow, this is really, really good. You ink like a man. So
everyone face palms. Everyone face palms. You can't say that. You looked at him and leaned over to him and said, psst, psst, "You can't say that."
That was back before political correctness, I'm afraid.
Yeah, you just hide your face in a book.
But even then we had politeness, and that's just not even polite.
Yeah, I didn't even know how to take that or what it meant. And
then it was
I supposed to be doing curlicues or something? I'm not sure.
Well, I have a similar story from an editor, the editor I worked for at Marvel.
Wait a minute. Someone said that your work was good like a guy's, and you
I ink like a man.
No, I'm talking about Rob. Rob said you had a story like they're telling Rob you ink like a man, and you took that, Rob. Come on, step up for Rob. Don't take that abuse.
What happened to you, Rob? Did you?
Well, I was waiting for Barb's. I thought her story was finished. I was going to let her finish her story, but what happened to me that was similar is I worked on a book called Pirates of Darkwater. It was a Saturday morning cartoon for a while.
I loved that cartoon as a kid.
Yeah, it was a wonderful show.
Oh,
It's one of those underrated shows that, like,
yes.
You mention it, like people will perk up, like, what?
Yeah, it was great, and the artist who had worked on it before me had not tried to draw it like the cartoon at all. He'd done a more realistic comic book style, but when I came in, I wanted to draw it like the cartoon. So I asked him to send me the model sheets and all that stuff. But anyway, afterwards, I heard that the editor of the book talked to someone that I knew in the office, and he passed this along to me. He says, "Oh, we don't like Rob's art. It's too quiet."
Quiet.
What the hell does that mean?
I think people just use words when they.
It was too quiet. Well, I was doing a Saturday morning cartoon in a cartoon style, so it's not this Jack Kirby in your face stuff. This is trying to imitate what they're doing on the cartoon show.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "No, we're not going to use him again. His work's too quiet."
Everybody to each their own, I guess.
I think they just use words to try to sound smart. Like, oh, his well, I mean, well, Eric's seen it by now. If you haven't, Art School Confidential it's on Amazon right now, Amazon Prime.
Oh gosh, I love that movie.
What you're trying to do is essentially impossible. You were trying to sing in your own voice using someone else's vocal cords. It's like, what did you just say?
It's all true. All that flighty-toity, hippy-whippy crap.
Take your pencil and throw it across the room. That's what I do. I'm not drawing. I quit. Guys, I want to thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. I want to go around, find out where we can follow you guys on social media, if possible. And then we're going to post your links. They should show up tomorrow, all under this video, maybe even tonight. They show up under the video. People can go there and check out those. Please crowdfund some of these campaigns. The people that are putting these books out, stand behind them, because they make good books. Cat Dad and Supermom from Rob, you can just talk about it, but it is a book that he just finished up funding. But you are on demand now, I believe, right, Rob?
Yes, on demand at Indiegogo. I'm not Rob though.
Yeah, he's on demand, so yeah, he can get that. You can definitely still take part in that.
Look, Randy. Look, I'm on Indiegogo, and no one cares. No one cares, Randy.
Everybody cares. You just got it over there. But make sure you look up the book Cat Dad and Supermom, and it's a fantastic book that you can read to your kids. That's got a very great anti-bullying message to it about an elephant that farts.
My buddy Kino Subway, if you're still in the chat, if you're still watching, float this out on social media for us, please. The link to this on Indiegogo. I have a hand in it. I did a coloring for the Luke Stone cover, and he is a great promoter of comics there on Twitter. So do me a solid and float this around, please.
I'm gonna get you guys to tell me where you're all from, not from, but where you guys can be found on social media, and then we'll end the show for today. So we'll start first with Mr. Rob Davis.
Well, I'm on Facebook, Rob Davis. I'm also on. You can find me also on Red Book Studio Comics. For the Airship 27 stuff, we have our own website called Airship27Hangar.com. Hangar like an airship hangar, obviously. And that should be it. That's pretty much everywhere I am.
And now the lesser of two Robs. We're using. I like to look like
I would never say that.
Actually, I will bring up the fact that I've been watching, and I believe that this Rob is slowly transforming into the comic version of Mick Foley. It's happening. It's happening.
So first it was the lesbian haircut comment with you. Now it's Mick Foley. I'm honored because both I'm a lesbian and Mick Foley at the same time. Thank you. I'm from New York City. I'm from New York. Hi, everybody. I'm single. I'm a Virgo. Please hit me up. I'm very lonely quarantine. You can find my book on Instagram, on Indiegogo. See how little I'm used to being on it, Randy. I'm in Indiegogo right now, trying it out. It's on demand, not like the movies. You actually get to keep your PDF or books that you buy. You don't have to give it back. And you can find me on any other site because I own them all, I've been told. And yes, I make comics to get women.
It's
awkward now, Varian.
That was awkward. You ruined it. Miss Barbara.
All right. Well, I am the only Barbara Kaalberg on the internet. There's one other one out there. She's my sister-in-law. And she's not online. So if you just Google my name, Kaalberg, you'll find me. I'm also on Facebook, Barbara Kaalberg on Facebook, and on Twitter, BJKLBRG on Twitter. Please copy and paste the link for the Kickstarter if you would care to share it on Twitter, or go to my Facebook page and take it off of there. It's public. The greatest help that you could be to me would be to share the links.
Yeah. Good idea.
We will do that, and it'll be involved. It'll be at the in this video as well. Let's pop over to Mr. Dreaded Dinosaur here.
Hey, well, I don't have a book currently funding, but you can also head over to Indiegogo for The Last Resort and pitch a few coins there for Travis Miller's awesome veteran project. And you can find me at Dreaded Dinosaur on all the social medias in the universe. Well, most of them. Head over to Webtoon, check out Dreaded Dinosaur Man, give it a subscription, or you could go over to my website, erikhodson.com, click Buy Prints. I do have a huge sale going on. You can pick up my wrestling and anime art.
Sorry about that. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Anthony, are you there? Mr. Figaro, are you there, buddy?
I think he's coming in later. Yeah,
I
he's might stepped out.
All right. Well, you might want to check out his book also called God's Hand. That's available on Indiegogo as well.
Yep. And then, of course, you can find me on. Well, actually, I'll let Randy go first.
Yeah, because you have a lot longer pitch than
Yeah.
I do. So. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. You can look at the Zim Geek channel on YouTube. That's ZIMMGEEK. And of course, I'll be back here on iNDIEVOLT Thursday mornings at 8 a.m. And of course, next Tuesday, I'm back here at 9 p.m. and that's Eastern Standard Time.
That's right. And then, of course, if you want to send in your question and have us pick on your questions, that's right, your questions, you can do that by emailing us over at indievoltlive@indievolt.com. Please include those, include IndieVolt Live in the subject, and keep those emails to 90 words or less, Ace.
Please,
Ace. It's close there for a second, buddy. I had to, I had to do a lot of finagling to get that all in there. Yeah, I really appreciate you guys writing in. It keeps the show, keeps me on my toes, keeps me, and it keeps Randy able to read stuff. I mean, Randy needs to read.
I need to read.
Yeah, you have to read. This helps him. So please make sure that you go over there, and if you have a question, send it in, and maybe, just maybe, your question will end up on the air here. And I want to thank all of you guys listening on IndieVolt Radio right now. 23,692 people listening. Really appreciate
each
that.
and every one of you.
And you can join those people by downloading the IndieVolt Radio app 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Indie music, news, and entertainment on Google Play or Streamer on iOS. It is coming to iOS natively very soon, I promise. I'm working on that right now. So you can download the app. The app is completely 100% free. So you can check it out there. Also, since you're stuck in the house, and I know you are, IndieVolt TV on Roku is free as well. Over the top service, basically it's like Netflix, but it's indie movies, and of course it is free. It's also got lots of from IndieVolt on original documentaries and some other content that you can check out. Download it; it's free, and it is quality material that I have cultivated and curated myself. So there, I said it. Check it out. And by the way, I'm starting to steal content from everywhere, so I'm gonna be taking content from Rob's show and putting it on there next. And what's Rob gonna do? What's he gonna do? I'll tell everybody he owns it. I'll tell everybody he owns it. Yeah. He flipped me off, but you guys can't see that on the radio. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no problem. Until then, I have been Varian Grant, KYD_V on Twitter. Last Call Comics is my publishing company, as well as IndieVolt.com. Make sure you check us out. Follow us on YouTube. Give us a like and subscribe. They go a long way. Everybody, please stay happy, healthy, and safe out there. Me and Randy will see you Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Lola will see you tomorrow at 9 p.m.
for Geekgasm.
Yep. And that's about it. Yeah.
This Friday, Art of War.
Oh yeah, this Friday, Art of War.
Art of War.
Yeah. You see, I'm gonna slowly transition out of hosting that real quick. I'm gonna slowly transition out of hosting it quickly. It's gonna be great. You guys, thanks for coming on. Thanks for joining us. You out there listening and watching, thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Take care.
Thanks for having us.
Mm-hmm.